in this video, I'll be going through chapter 2 of Automate the Boring Stuff. Before I start, I want to advise that you go through the chapter and practice. Run the code, write the code, type the code before you watch this video. This video is just going to explain some of the concepts. I'm just going to explain the concepts and the ideas and the logic behind some of the code. So go through the book before you watch this video. That should be the format of how you learn Python. Okay, let's get into it. So in Python, we have what we call Boolean values, and there are only two values, which are true and false. So let me open the Python console. So the Boolean values are true, the first Boolean value. The second one is false. So now note that it's capital T and capital F. If you write true, this is not a Boolean value, you get an error. If you write false, all caps, this is not a Boolean value, you get an error. So the Boolean values are true, capital T small, RUE, and false, capital F ALSE. Also, this true is not a Boolean value, so take note. Let me open another console. Also in Python, we have what we call comparison operators, and there are 6 of them. So for example, 2 equals 2. So this is the first, or is one of the comparison operators. 2 equal signs. The second one is not equal to operator, which is the exclamation sign and equal to. So this is one of them. So this means 2 is not equal to 2, which is wrong because 2 is equal to 2. So we got false. We got a Boolean value, which is false. The next operator is the less than operator. 2 is less than 3. So which is true because 2 is less than 3. So we got a true Boolean value. Next one is 3 greater than 2. So this is called the greater than operator. Let's press enter. True, we got true. It means 3 is greater than 2. A Boolean value, which is true. The next one is the greater than or equal to. So for example, 3 is greater than or equal to 2. I'm going to get true because 3 is greater than 2, but it is not equal to 2. So Python picked the greater than and gave us the true value because 3 is greater than 2. The next one is less than or equal to. So 3 is less than or equal to 2. We're going to get false because 3 is neither equal to or less than 2. So see, note the difference. And also note that there's no spacing in between the signs. There's no spacing. So everything is together. So the greater than or equal to is together. There's no spacing. Let's write more examples. 42 is equal to 42. So this would give us false because the first 42 is an integer and the second 42 is a string. So and they are not equal to. So Python knows this and it's going to give us false. The second example, 42 equal to 42.0. You are going to get true because 42 is the same as 42.0. This is basic maths. So go through the examples in the book and play with them, play around them, and see what happens. Also, let us know the difference between the equal to operator and the assignment operator. So the equal to operator is this. This is the equal to operator, and the assignment operator is just one equal to. So for example, x equals 2. This is the assignment operator, and this time we are assigning 2 to the variable x. But when we use x is equal to 2, so this statement means is x equal to 2. So let's press enter and see what Python gives us. True, because x, which is 2, is equal to 2. So the two values over here, x and 2, are the same. They are equal. That's why we got 2. But if in the first time, we are assigning the value 2 to x. So this is the assignment operator, and this is the equal to operator. Also in Python, we have what we call the Boolean operators, and these are the AND, OR, and NOT. So in the book, there are truth tables that explains these Boolean operators. So for example, true and true is going to give us true. True and false is going to give us false. So play around this. Everything is in the book. So go through the book and play around all these. Then we have true or false is going to give us true. Then not true, we get false. If it's not true, then it's false. Not false equals true. If it's not false, then it's true. Not false is going to give us false. So the first one, not false, is going to give us true. Then we add another not, which is not true, and it's going to give us false. So know how Python sees these kind of things. So you have to play around them. So not true, false. So the first not true is going to give us false. The not false is going to give us true. The not true is going to give us false. So yeah, so play around them. So let's mix the Boolean operators with the comparison operators. So for example, 4 less than 5 and 5 is less than 6. So we are going to start from the left hand side. So 4 is less than 5. It's true. So you have true here. And 5 is less than 6, which is true. So true and true is going to give us true. So this is how we got the true here. Let me give another example. So 1 is equal to 2, or or 2 is equal to 2. So 1 is equal to 2. It's false because 1 is not equal to 2. Or 2 is equal to 2. 2 is equal to 2. True. So false or true should give us true. Now we are going to apply everything that we've learned, the Boolean values, the Boolean operators, and the comparison operators, to flow control. So now, what is flow control? We're going to demonstrate flow control real quick using the paint. So now, what is flow control? I'm going to explain flow control using a diagram. Imagine a channel with branches, right? This is channel A, this is channel B, this is channel C. So the first channel, second channel, and third channel. And this is the main channel, right? Let's say there's a sensor here that's going to detect the type of liquid that are going to pour in the main channel. So let's pour, let's say, water, right? So you pour the water in the main channel, it gets here, the sensor sees it, and you've programmed the sensor in such a way that if it's water, it's going to close channel C and channel B and leave channel A open, right? So if it's water, it's only going to flow through channel A. Now if you pour, let's say, oil in the main channel, the sensor is going to see it, and let's say close channel A and open channel B and close channel C. So the oil is only going to flow through channel B. So that's basically what flow control is. So you give it a condition. If the liquid is oil, it's going to flow through channel B. If the liquid is water, it's going to flow through channel A. And the rest of the channels are going to be closed. So let's say you add another liquid with kerosene, right, to the main channel, kerosene. So when it gets to the sensor is going to close channel A, close channel B, and leave channel C open. So the kerosene is only going to flow through channel C. So imagine that's how Python works. Let's come to Python. Python, we have what we call elements of flow control, and there are two of them. We have the condition and we have the clause, right? These are the two basic elements of flow control. The condition, that is if the liquid is oil. Then we have the clause, which is what do I do if the condition is water? What do I do if the condition is oil? Right, so I'm going to give an example. Let's clean this. So for example, password equals rows. We are going to assign rows to password. So our password is going to be rows. Then we say if password is equal to rows, print access granted, right? So let's run this. So access granted, because the condition was if password is equal to rows, and we met the condition because password is equal to rows. Print access granted. So you got the access granted here. Another example. So if password is equal to rows, print access granted. Then this time we put else, print access denied, full stop. Just like the first one, we got access granted because we set the password, which is this one, to rows. So let's say our password then becomes password equals, let's see, Robocop. Then we use this one. Let's copy this code here and paste it here. So you're asking Python if the password is equal to rows, print access granted. If the password is not equal to rows, so that's what this else means. If the password is equal to rows, print access granted. Otherwise, if the password is not equal to rows, print access denied. Is either the password is equal to rows or not. So if it's not, then you print access denied. This time our password is equal to Robocop, and the password here is rows, so it's going to give us access denied. So I hope it's clear. Also in Python, we have what we call flow control statement. For example, this if statement here is a flow control statement. So we are going to see the other flow control statements very soon. Let's work on another example for the if statement. So name equals Alice. So then the if keyword comes, then the condition. If name, so this is the condition, is equal to Alice. Then the colon, this is the colon. The colon comes in. Don't forget the colon, very important. Then enter. Then this is where the clause comes in. What is going to be satisfied? So then print hi Alice. Stop. Enter. So the if statement. So the if keyword, the condition, then the colon, then the clause or block of code. So that's how Python reads this statement. Python also has the else statement. So let's change the name. Let's change name to Mary. Right? Then let's copy this one here. You shouldn't copy and paste. You should type everything. I just want it to go quickly. Then we have the else statement. Else print you are not Alice. Full stop. So this time we change the name to Mary. Then the condition comes in. If name is equal to Alice, print hi Alice. Else print you are not Alice. So this condition wasn't satisfied because now name is Mary. So if you press enter, you are going to get you are not Alice because now name is Mary. It didn't satisfy this statement, so it's going to print you are not Alice. It's quite straightforward. We also have the elif statement. So I'm going to put an example here. Let's bring this back. Press enter. Let's copy this code. Then the elif statement comes. So in English is else if, but in Python is elif. So note the difference. So elif, then another condition, name equals, let's say Burna Boy. Then the colon comes in. So make sure you don't forget the colon. Enter. Print hi Burna Boy. Burna Boy. Full stop. Then we'll come again. Else print you are neither Alice nor Burna Boy. Full stop. Let's run this code. Hi Alice. So the reason why it gave us hi Alice because we set the name to Alice. So as soon as it runs this first condition, if name is equal to Alice, print hi Alice. Python forgets the rest because the rest don't meet our condition, which is name is equal to Alice. So let's set name equals Burna Boy and see what happens. Burna Boy. Now let's copy this code right here and press enter. Hi Burna Boy. So this time the first condition didn't meet. It was the second that met, which is Burna Boy, because now the name is Burna Boy. Then it printed hi Burna Boy. So this is how Python sees the logic. The next flow control statement is the while loop statement. So for the while loop, let's use the editor. So let's create a new file, new Python file. Then let's name it while loop. Write our variable spam and give it a value 0. Then for the while loop, we have the while keyword, then the condition, which is spam is less than 5, then colon, then the clause, print hello world. Before we run this code, let me quickly explain what the while loop does. So for the while loops, it goes in cycles. It loops. That's how we got the name loop, while loop. So we set our spam to 0. So spam is always 0. Then we come to the condition here. So the condition is while spam is less than 5. Or in English, you say as far as or so far as spam, which is 0, is less than 5, print hello world. And spam is always less than 5 because spam is 0. So let's print and see what happens. So it's going to loop. It's going to loop. It's going to print till you stop it. When Python got here, it checked if spam is actually less than 5. And the boolean value over here is true. So it went into the while loop. It went into the clause and printed hello world. After that, it went back again. It jumped back again to the while loop and checked if spam is less than 5. Then went into the print hello world, into the clause and printed hello world. Then went back again. So it's going to do that over and over and over again. So you stop it. Because the statement, the condition over here is always true. But when the condition over here is false, so let's set spam is equal to 6, right? So spam, so you can replace, you can just replace this spam by 6. It's the same thing, 6. But we want to make it a variable. So spam, which is 6, is less than 5, which is false because 6 is never less than 5. It's not less than 5. So if you run this, Python is not going to run what's in the clause. It's just going to end the program because it didn't meet our condition. So we never printed hello world. So the span should always be less than the 5. So let's say 4. Let's run the code. Hello world, because 4 is always less than 5. It's going to enter the clause and print hello world. Next flow control statement is the break statement. And I'm going to use this code here to explain what the break statement means. So we have the while loop over here, which is while true. So this is always going to be true. The condition over here is going to be true because you've set it to true, while true. Print, please type your name. Then we have the input function here, which is going to request us to put our name there. Then we have the if condition here in the while loop. If this name is equal to Joe, break. So what this break does here is that it's going to break out of the while loop. So instead of it going in cycles or running over and over again, it's going to break out of the while loop and go down to the next code. That is if the name is equal to Joe. If the name you put over here is not equal to Joe, it's going to run the while loop. It's going to go in cycles. So let's run this code and see what happens. So run. So you see, please type your name. Then Python is expecting us to type the name because it has gotten to the third line, which is the input, where the input functions. You are going to input the name. So let's say we input Jim instead of Joe. We put Jim over there and let's see what happens. It went back to the while true. So it never went to print thank you because it checked if the name was equal to Joe. And when the name wasn't, it went back. So this time, let's run the code. Let's run the code and type Joe, which is the name we want. It printed thank you. So it broke out of the while loop when it got here. It broke out of the while loop and went to the next line, line 6, and printed thank you. So let's run it one more time. So please type your name, input function, input, let's say Jake. Please type your name. If the name isn't equal to Joe, it's going to start, rerun the while loop, and ask that to print our name, type our name. So it's going to do this too. You put Joe there. So Alice is going to run it forever. So you put the right name there. You put the right name there, Joe. Run it. Thank you. End of code. Our next flow control statement is the continue statement. And I'm going to use this code right here to explain what the continue statement does. So let's start from the top. While true, print, please type your name. This is straightforward. Name equals input. We're going to ask us to put our name there. Then we come here to the if statement. If name is not equal to, so this means is not equal to. So this time we have not equal to Joe. Continue. So this continue here doesn't mean continue to the next line. The continue here means start the while loop or restart the while loop. Jump back to the while loop. The continue here, I'm going to say it again. The continue here doesn't mean move to the next or continue on the next. You know, it's easy to say continue on the next line because it's continue. The continue here means go back to the while loop, start, restart. That's what it's important to know. It can be very confusing, but if you get the concept, you'll be fine. So let's run the code and see what happens. Let's put Mary. Our name is Mary. Please type your name. Python compared the name Mary to Joe. So Mary is not equal to Joe, which is correct, which is true. So then what? Continue. Restart the while loop. So the if statement is only going to go to the next line if it is true. So let's go again. Enter your name, Mary. Now this Mary here is equal to the name. So Mary. Then it gave us please type your name, because it checked and compared if the name was equal to Joe or not. And when it saw that the name was not equal to Joe, it restarted the while loop because of this continuous statement. So now let's put in the right name, which is Joe, and see what happens. So as soon as we put the name Joe, it compared Joe to Joe. So it's like saying Joe is not equal to Joe, which is false. So it skipped this line, this continual line here, it skipped it and went straight to print. Welcome Joe, welcome Joe, and print what is your password. Then you go to the password input. So this time we are going to input our password. So let's say our password is equal to joke. So when it saw that our password was equal to joke, it didn't meet our condition over here, which is password is equal to Rose. So then it went back the while loop and restarted the while loop. So let's run it one more time. Let's put the real name, the actual name we want over there, Joe. The next time we put the actual password, which is Rose. So you see, the password you put over here is Rose, which meets this condition over here. So it's going to break out of the while loop. So you're not going to start again and move to the next line and print access granted. So follow the logic and you'll be fine. The next flow control statement is the for loop statement. We are going to create a new file for the for loop. So let's name it for loop. Press enter. So I'm going to write a simple for loop code over here. So the for keyword, the variable in range function 5, then our colon, print hello world. For the for loop, we have the for keyword, the variable. So this I here can be anything. This I here can be X, can be anything. It's a variable, right? It can be X or any variable, or let me say valid variable. And we have the in, and we have the range function. So we are going to print hello world 5 times. That's what this range 5 means. So let's run it and see what happens. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The hello world was printed 5 times. The for loop is just like the while loop. The only difference is that the for loop is limited, but for the while loop you can print forever. So this is the end of the video. I hope I explained it better. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, or you can join the Telegram page. See you in the next one.